Very good. Let's start our discussion. You can come forward para maklaro ninyo ang nasa PowerPoint. So you can take pictures sa slide. Ayun lang po i-happen. Please na. Okay. Let's start with the pharmacognosy and plant chemistry. So our reference book, as introduced last time, we had our first meeting. We will be using the textbook of pharmacognosy and phytochemistry by Byron Shaw. So if ever naamoy means to pay a physical copy, you may do so. Or if you opt for an e-book, okay ra po. Okay, that's not the same. Kaniman na version or the latest version, it's okay. Okay. Sige, so since this is an introduction, let's start with in every introduction, maagid na definition of terms and history. So I assume inyohan ang nabasa ang definition and history of pharmacognosy. So the discipline of pharmacognosy, it was established way back in the 19th century. Giseparate yun ang pharmacognosy na discipline from the rest of the discipline. This is to focus on the advantage of plant-based na mga medicines or animal-based na medicines. So the term pharmacognosy was coined from the word, ikan siya sa duhang ka Latin na word, which means pharmakon, meaning sa pharmakon, drug, and gignosco or gignoso, meaning yes, to acquire knowledge or knowledge. So literally, the pharmacognosy is acquiring knowledge about drugs. So sa man nato dapat i-acquire na knowledge about drugs. So of course, physical, chemical, as well as therapeutic activities. So kinsay nagsugod aning pharmacognosy? So who established the pharmacognosy? So naay duha ka person nga nag-ilog aning pharmacognosy nga words. So we have Christian Ignatius Sadler and naapod si Johann Adam Smith. So kinsa sa ilaha ang una ni gamit sa term na pharmacognosy? Sige, nabasa naman dyan mo. Si? Doon na siya nakabalong. Ano siya? Ha? Kinsa? Si? Kinsa? Si Johann Adam Smith ang una ni gamit. Pero, kinsaan maingon na nag-coin sa term sa pharmacognosy? Good, si Sadler. Una lang nagamit si Smith sa iyang book na, kamalibasaan ang saan na pagbasa. Kasi nga mga language there. That's his book. Dihan niya gigamit ang word na pharmacognosy. However, si Christian Ignatius Sadler, kumbaga, iyan ipag-copyright ang term na pharmacognosy. Munang sa iya napadulong ang intellectual property, kumbaga, sa term na pharmacognosy. But he was the one, si Smith ang una ni gamit sa term na pharmacognosy. Okay? So let's just, kumbaga, overview lang sa history of pharmacognosy, ng mga, yung dugay na siya na discipline, no? So, in ancient China, kani ang commonly, up until now, ginagamit gihapon siya as a herbal medicine sa China. Diba? We have the podophyllum, we have the rhubarb, ginseng. Diba? Familiar with ginseng? Kasi hindi okay drama dami. Diba? Ginseng is a holy grail kasi lahat na tonic. We have also the stramonium, we have cinnamon bark, and the ephedra. That is, diha nag-start ang ilahang fame of using it as a drug. Then in ancient Egypt, we have the Ebers Papyrus. This is a collection of about 800 prescription drugs. Prescriptions and 700 drugs. Asa nakita ang Ebers Papyrus? Sa Egypt. Asa sa Egypt? Sa tomb of a mummy. So dito siya nakuha na. Dito taas kina siya na script and naka-preserve na siya sa Germany. Nasa sa Germany na naka-preserve. Then, in ancient India, ang ilahang focus sa ilang pharmacognosy is on the Ayurveda. We say Ayurveda, it's the traditional way nila of using medicine plants as a medicine. Okay? So, their famous writing is the Sushruta Samhita. So, that's the famous book, kumbaga nila, or prescriptions of drugs. Nakalist diha ang, like for example, paggamit sa pepper, sa ilahang, not just a food, but a medicinal drug, as well as kanang castor, the resinus. We have also the lily of the valley. Muna, gagamit sila. Nana siya kay Sushruta Samhita. And then, the important people behind the use of plants and animal-based na mga drugs, we have the Hippocrates. He is considered as the father of medicine, and it is famous for his oath that is administered to doctors. We have also Aristotle and Theophrastus. So, ito na silang lagyan natin. Basta kabalo mo, mga sila ang nagsugod sa Greece and Rome for paggamit sa mga drugs or plant-based drugs. Then we have Dioscorides or Pedanius Dioscorides. He mentioned about 600 medicinal plants in his book, De Materia Medica. And mga common example nga, even until now, ginagamit pa, we have the belladonna plant, the ergot, natin mga ergot, those are mga alkaloids, ginagamit siya sa migraine, postpartum bleeding. We have also opium, familiar with opium, plant, diba na siya sa size ng mga salida, source of morphine, codeine, apomorphine. We have also aloe vera. It was indicated by the book De Materia Medica, kung saan gamit ni aloe, ginagamit siya as, sa inyong gamit sa aloe vera. Moisturizer. Yes, gamit siya as a moisturizer, and pwede po siya as a cathartic para ma-defecate. Okay. We have also hyoscyamus and colchicum. Kuhaon si colchicine. Familiar mo with colchicine drug? Yes. Ano siya? Very good. Pwede naman yung mag-4th year. Okay. Next, we have Claudius Galen. He is a pharmacist physician. He described the method of preparing a pharmaceutical product or formulation containing the plant and animal drug. So siya ang pasimuno anang mag-formulate ka of ointment with dahon, ointment with animal extracts. So you did formulate man in your DDS under Doc Micah. So how was I was supposed to be a panel. However, due to conflict of my schedule, wala na ko nagayon ng pagpanel. So okay na mo ato. You did good. It's a challenge to make a preparation in a good, for example, create a gel. It's very difficult to create a gel with limited options. Okay. Next, you have the definition of terms. We're done with the people behind them, behind the discipline. We have the definition of terms. So, it's, for natural substances, these are substances that are found in nature that comprises the plants and the animal parts or secretions. And we have also mga synthetic substances. These are substances that are synthesized in the laboratory by either two methods. Natin gitawag na total synthesis, meaning the drug is completely processed in the lab. Chemical plus chemical, you have the drug. Then when you say semi-synthetic, this is not entirely a synthetic process, but there is a modification of the naturally existing drug. That is, say for example, natay natural camphor. I-distill nato siya by steam distillation from its source, natay natural camphor. Pwede po tayong mabuhat o synthetic camphor. So it can be manufactured by mixing vinyl chloride plus cyclopentadine, makakreate na camphor. So, sa'yo tawag ito? It's a total synthesis, kaya both are imo siyang i-manufacture in the laboratory. Or, kung gusto ka og semi-synthetic, so katong natural camphor, imo siyang i-modify para ma-alter ang iyang polarity or ang iyang activity, because camphor, if lahi iyang polarity, pag left-sided or right-sided, lahi iyang activity. So that is semi-synthetic. Okay? So, crude drugs. We only say crude drugs if the plant or the animal undergoes, or substances undergoes only the process of collection and drying. So, duha lang yun. Collection and drying, ang pinaka-importante ngayon, you remember, basta mag-store ka o crude drug. So, kung nagkuha mong kalamunggay, tapos nauga siya sa ref, kung sa'y tawag na ito ang kalamunggay, crude drug. Kung di mo na siyang gidukduk, di mo na gipabukadan, kung sa'y tawag sa iya na? Extract. Yes, very good. So, di mo na siyang nanak kay mga modification sa iyahan, na ang tawag, hindi na crude drugs. Okay? So, we have derivatives na pag imo na siyang i-macerate. What do you mean by macerate? What do you mean by macerate? Imuhang suffocation process. Imuhang humul. Humulan mo. So that is maceration. You macerate the compound or the substances with the suitable solvent. So derivatives or extractives are the product of extraction process which contains the chief constituent of the drug. So question, panawag na po ha. Dotosme. Oh, you stand up please. Name one extraction process. What? Oh, very good. Maceration. Ang kanina. You will have additional points by ang mga answer. Next. Sige, Google din po din. Kaya din. Egos. Name another extraction process. Aside sa maceration. Steam distillation. Correct. Okay. Another extraction process. Balansa. Another extraction process. Decoction. Good. Odiada. Percolation. Very good. Kung sa mga extraction process ka ha? Sige, napaka-isa na wala na itong Calabria. Napaka-isa. Infusion. Sige, it's a kind of a decoction but still. Next. Ako may wala na tunggan na isa ka word. Faborada. Faborada na? Oh, yes. Digestion. Okay, so natay daghan na extraction. So we have maceration, that is the simplest one. Yung halang iso. We have decoction. We have digestion. And we have percolation process. Okay? So pag ang imuhang plant is naapag together with the solvent you have used, ang tawag sa iyaha is extractives or derivatives. Again, when we say extraction, it's a process of removing only those substances that can be dissolved in a liquid or a liquid mixture, referred to as solvent or menstruum. And sa maceration, it's the simplest one. Commonly, usually water or alcohol ang gamiton. So, your plant material plus your solvent or your alcohol, tawag extractives. Kung imo na tanggalon si dahon, ano sa naitawag sa iya? Ha? extractives. Pagyahapon, natalaman ko, tanggalon lang nimo si dahon, meaning physically removing the dahon. So later na po isang question. Okay? So balik sa ito na extraction. What are the components of the extraction? So we have menstruum. Again, this is the liquid or the solvent being used to extract the desired constituent. We have the mark. It is the undissolved portion of the extraction process. So kung nag-macerate ka, imong isala, ang katong na bilin sa salaan, mo to siya ang mark. Undissolved portion. Kinsa na extra nga mark, doon na bang Valentine. Wala pa siya ka-move on. So si mark, ang undissolved portion sa imong heart. Wala pa siya na filter out sa imong life. Extractives, again, this is the product of extraction, solvent plus the dissolved substances. And if tanggalon na nako ang solvent, ang tawag na sa iyaha is extract. Okay, again, kailangan kayo masayog ani. When we say extractive, it's the solvent plus the dissolved substances. Pag ako ipa-evaporate to dryness, meaning tanggalon nako si solvent, ang mabilin is term as extract. It's the substance remain after separating or removing the menstruum from the extracted. Okay, let's define the plants. We have indigenous plants and we have naturalized plants. So when we say indigenous plants, these are the plants that grow in their native countries or specific localities. When you say naturalized plants, these are plants that can grow in their foreign land other than their native homes or in different localities. So, pwede siya magtubo bisang kasa. Dili siya makita nga diha lang. Pero pag indigenous, diha lang siya nga area makita. Okay? Next, we have the scope of pharmacognosy. The scope of pharmacognosy is actually very broad. It tackles about the medicine, it tackles about bulk drugs, it tackles about food supplement, it also tackles pharmaceutical necessities. Diba? We can use the plant extracts or for example, the beeswax. Have you used beeswax in your preparation last night? You did? So that is an example of a pharmaceutical necessities under the scope of pharmacognosy. Can also be used as a pesticides, a tissue culture biotechnology like the colchicine, and it can also be used in not engineering the physical health. It's the genetic engineering. Okay? So that's the scope of pharmacognosy. But we have August Flockiger who defined specifically on the scope of pharmacognosy. It is a simultaneous application of various disciplines with the object of acquiring knowledge of drugs from every point of view. So yun siya diha, kinahanglan gani mo ang various discipline para ma-understand ang pharmacognosy or to acquire the knowledge of drugs. But you must pass first, so pa yung mga prerequisite na yung botany, you have biochem, you're done with biochem. You need the knowledge of biochemistry because we will be talking about lipids, carbohydrates, the chemical property of the constituents. Those are kinahanglan ninyo para ma-understand na ito ang drug. Okay, next. Mas pasanta niyo camera. Okay. Classifications of drugs. So we have two based on the organization now. So we have organized drugs. These are drugs that consist of cellular organization in the form of anatomical features and consist mostly of crude drugs from plant sources. So i-organize siya based sa iyahang forma. So i-organize siya, gigamit mga leaves ni tanan, kani mga twigs, kani mga stem lang, roots, or the bulb the root crops. When you say unorganized drugs, kani siya ang dili mo siya classified based sa iyang morphology or anatomical organization because na-powderize na siya na form or kung sa ba iyang other form, dili na mo siya ma-distinguish kung asa siya gikan. So that is unorganized. And since this two classification is dili siya specific, kumbaga, it's a general way mo siya. Another method, kanil sila ang specific yun kayo of way to classify drugs, crude drugs. We have alphabetical, again, this is, may it be in Latin or vernacular names, could be used in arranging the names of the drugs. Okay, so usually this type of classification is employed kung dictionary. Kung ang ginagamit pag mag-create a dictionary, diba, of plant bases or mag-listing mo of plants, alphabetical or dali makita. Pero naangan siya disadvantage. Have you done activity 1? Laboratory? Mana? What's yung title? The cell? It's not the, classification of drugs. Oh, the old one ang inyong gigamit ng manual. It was my time kami. Your manual is, college mabod ko na the cell. It's botany pa na ang anyways. I will inform Mavi and Ma'am Villena about that. Mga i-add na lang. Supposed to be, this would be your first activity, classifying a drug. We'll solve that one. Anyways, next we have taxonomic. For taxonomic, the drugs are classified according to phylogeny. When you say phylogeny, it's the natural relationships among the species. So it could be assigned as a class, a genera, a kingdom, a family. So yan na siya pag-classify when we say taxonomic classification. Then we have morphologic. So yahang morph, meaning form. The drugs are classified or divided into, pwede siya i-divide mo siya into leaves or i-classify mo siya sa leaves, sa flowers, sa stems, sa seeds, sa roots or sa root crop ba kaya. So those are for the morphologic classification. And then we have therapeutic or pharmacologic. This involves the grouping of drugs according to their pharmacologic or physiologic therapeutic activity. So kung cathartic sila or naa siya cathartic property, so you classify it as a cathartic. Kung naa siya astringent property, so you classify it as astringent. Kung naa siya meiotic property, so you classify mo siya under that drug. Maka-increase siya BP, ang classification. That is under pharmacologic. Okay, when you say biochemical or biogenetic, you are classifying the drug based on the important constituent present, and this is the popular na method to classify a drug. Si chemical. So you classify it based on kung sa siya iyang feature. Kung alkaloids pa siya, alkaloidal drug. We have glycosilic drugs, pwede siya tannins, pwede siya fixed oils, mga volatile oils, resins. So those are chemical classifications of drugs. And our flow of discussion is based on the chemical classification. So ito is, mag-start with carbohydrates, followed by glycosides, we have tannins, fixed oils, volatile oils, resins, alkaloids. Hopefully ma-finish nato siya until vitamins. Kasi usually, pag yun, student pharmacist ka, kasi vitamins ako, makatubag mo. Dili pa mo katubag. Okay. Wala ko may na-introduce sa inyo sa mga klase na vitamins o sa iyang mga actions. Sige. Balikan mo na sa bawat ulit ka ba po. Okay? Okay ba? Nasabtan? Sige. Next, we have the preparation of crude drugs. So these are the methods or the process of preparing a crude drug. So after you collect and harvest, ano sa kanina mo sunod buhaton? So these are, we have collection, harvesting, drying, garbling, and packaging, and storage, and preservation. When you say collection, this is all the purpose of collection is to always ensure a true natural sources and reliable product. And it is considered as the most important step after cultivation. Yan, importante nung kay siya nga, hindi mo siyang i-collect. Yun na siya to ensure a true natural sources and reliable product. Hindi mo siya i-check, collect sa ka ang sample, hindi mo i-check kung okay na ba ang constituent. Like for example, ang plant ng good, lahi-lahi mo makuha ng constituent kung dili pa maabot ang maturity. So if you want na i-ani lang ang plant na magawas lang siya ani na age, constituent. Kung i-ani na constituent na magawas lang siya ani na age, dapat ihapon na time mo siya i-harvest. So you have to check kung okay na ba ang constituent. Of course, the season, imo na siya, part na siya sa collection. Kung asa siya best i-collect, morning ba? Gabi ba? So that is under collection. And then we have also factors that could affect the amount of constituent present in your plant samples. Of course, the season. Diba? May mga seasonal na plants. Just like my classmate there sa Silong, the research is about marang. Marang. Kailan mo marang? Diba, hindi siya season sa marang karon. Until now, stop pa sila sa ilang research. Wala yung marang. So, very important later on in your research to choose a sample na all throughout the year na agad siya. Not seasonal. Kaya mag-lisod mo. So, that's lesson learned. Dili mo gamit ang mga seasonal na mga plants. And mag-listen mo, proceed with your research. Okay? Season. Weather lang. Kung asa siya i-pick best. Morning, afternoon, gabi. Tig-ulan, tig-init, or sakto lang. Next, we have the age of the plant. So, i-check yun kung ang imong gusto ng constituent is ma-convert na ba siya kanina age or at this age, dapat kanilang yun, hindi mo siya makuha. So, that is part of collection factor and the time as well. Next, we have harvesting. So, after nimo ma-ensure na ready na ang imuhang sample, imuhang plant sample, that's the time you will harvest. Kaya collection naman yun kay like few samples. For harvesting, daghan naman ang imuhang kuha ko. Now, what if mauna imong harvesting before nimo ma-determine? Sakto na ba? Okay na ba? Mag-una akong harvesting. Ma'am, okay na mag-una akong harvesting. Dalion mag-una ko akong oras. Layo kayo siya kuhaan ba? Para isahon na ako. Nag-harvest na ko. Nag-collect na ko. Pero nag-harvest na ko. Sakto na ba siya? Yes or no? Ha? Dili kita mo. Hadok mo magtubag. Dili ko manawag pa. Wait. Di pa na ako mag-question. Akong pagtawag. Sakto na ba siya? Kaya inyo i-maximize ang pag-aton ninyo. Sige, ni-aton mo sa tumoy sa bukid. Dito lagi makuha inyong plan. Pero ako kabalo kung pwede na ba siya. Pero kay since layo, give kaayo ang place, you pick na daghan na give kaayo para mausan na siya. Pag-abutan ninyo sa laboratory, inyo na siya i-process. Sakto na ba yung ibuhat? No, because walang kabalo kung ready to pick na ba ang imuhang plant sample. So, may nasayang ato. Ang plant resources, and your time. Kaya, hello, di naman din mo. Yun na siyang i-process niya later on at the end of your line. Kaya, dili effective ang inyong plant. Kaya, dili pa mature ang inyong na-harvest. So, it's a waste of resources, it's a waste of time, effort, and money. Kaya, processing a drug is expensive, okay? Making a formulation is expensive. No? Expensive, no? Nagbuhat mo og product. Aside sa printing sa label, sa naman kayo. That is importante mag-collect before harvesting. Next, we have drying. So, when we say drying, it consists of removal of sufficient moisture content of fruit drugs so as to improve its quality and make it resistant to the growth of microorganisms. Diba? When there is moisture, there is bacterial growth. So para dili madaot ang inyong plant samples, dili pa ninyo siya ma-process, you need to dry your sample. Okay, kay mag-third year naman yun mo. Yes, mag-third year? Yes! Gamay na lagi ang mga yun. Mag-third year? Yes! Training pa gani, dapat inyo na mag-third year. Kasi mag-research man mo, dapat po na doon na feedback. So, dapat i-dry sa ninyo ha. You must know what is the rationale why you have to dry your sample. So, what are the benefits of drying a sample? One is to, aside from, retard microorganism growth, it inhibits the partially enzymatic reaction or inhibits partially the enzymatic reaction. Kaya wala naman moisture, diba? Enzymes also require moisture. So kung walay enzymes, walay metabolism mahitabo sa cells inside the plant, so walay decomposition later on. So it also fixes the constituent. Kaya imuha bang na-dry up, na-fix ang imuhang constituent. Drying is also, it also provides or facilitates pulverizing or grinding of your crude raw. So pag dry mo go, dali na siya pulverize. And better siya for your extraction process. The smaller the particle size, the better its contact with the solvent. Okay? Smaller the particle size, the greater the surface area, the better its absorption of the solvent. Okay, you will encounter that one under your biopharmaceutics. So what are the methods of drying? So there are two types. You have the natural drying and the artificial drying. So when you say natural, this is the sun drying, and it is further subdivided into direct sun drying and shed drying. So dili tanan plant samples are good for direct sun drying. If you are acquiring or if you are targeting the volatile substances of a plant, ayaw siya i-sun dry. Kaya volatile man siya, mawala gid ang inyong substances kung inyo siyang i-direct sun drying. And for shed drying, ang advantage niya is it retains the aesthetic appeal sa isa ka plant. So dili kay siya crispy, dili kay siya brown. So that is the advantage of shed drying. And mostly, shed drying ang ginagamit pag natural drying. And if wala mo yung time, like limited din yung time, you can opt for artificial drying. So we have oven drying or tray dryers, which we do have in our laboratory. We also have, we don't have the vacuum dryers, but can also be used. And the spray dryers. So you have it in your book, the unsa siya? Like for example, for sun drying, it is suitable for contents or plant constituents that are stable to high temperature and sunlight. So again, later on in your research, you have to know why man sun drying, why man shed drying, why man artificial drying ang gamiton. You have to answer that. So nana mo'y pa-answer ana. For shed drying, it is preferred if natural color and volatile principles ang imong needed. For tray dryers, you have this in your book. So read that one. As well as the, mabalik na gamay. Katong classification of drugs, na ay pros and cons sa libro. Gagawa sa isang exam. Pros and cons, na sa libro. Kung say pros and cons ni alphabetical, kung say pros and cons ni chemical, ni pharmacology, na siya gagawa sa exam. We have reading assignment. Aside sa wala siya sa PowerPoint, but you have it in your book. Okay? So, si drying is one of, siya pinaka-importanting na step in the preparation of crude raw. Again, drying is the most important step in preparing a crude raw. Ayaw palimot ha? Question na mo later no? Next, you have curing. Curing is a special type of drying process. This enhances the properties of the plant active constituent. So example of a plant na undergo special drying process termed as sweating is the vanilla bean. So ginapasweat ang vanilla bean para ma-convert siya into vanillin. Diba? Vanilla flavor, you're familiar with it, right? Hilig of vanilla flavor. Ice cream na vanilla. Vanillin man ang constituent nga naa sa vanilla na flavor. So may ngana na siya na flavor. Pag imo siya ni-undergo of curing process termed as sweating process. So man na yung sweating process, literal na singot grade mo siya. So i-soak mo siya, imo siyang i-soak, mo siya lutuon gamay, pero siya lutuon. Initon lang siya, i-dry directly sa sun. After pagkagabi, kuhaon siya, puston siya. Di ba pag init kayo ang things, pag puston is musimot. Right? So pag after sun drying, pagkagabi, puston siya on cloth, i-store siya. The next day na po, ibulan, ipuston na sa nabalik until mugawas na ang baho sa vanilla. That's the time ready na for extraction ng vanilla bean. So that is curing or special drying process. Mawala na i-remove ang moisture niya. Di ba one of the advantage of drying is to fix the constituent. So pasok siya sa drying na process. Okay, gets? How about the Cascara Sagrada? Cascara Sagrada is macerated for 1 year. 1 year, iyang 1 year sa magnesium oxide. Hydroxide or oxide? Oxide. Magnesium oxide for 1 year. The purpose is to enhance the palatability of the drug and reduce the active constituent to its, or to transform the constituent to its reduced active form. And that's the purpose of Cascara Sagrada being marinated for 1 year. Okay? Next, we have garbling. Garbling is a removal of physical labor. You remove the extraneous material that is not included in your plant sample or crude drug. Sample, if imuha is dahon lang yung imuhang crude drug, tapos na yung mga petals, na yung mga twigs, you have to remove it. That process is termed as garbling. You remove the foreign organic matter or extraneous matter that is not included in your plant. And lastly, to ensure the quality of a drug, of course, imo siyang store or package, store, and preserve well. So for packaging, the drug or packaging of drugs depends on their final deposition. So kung imo siyang gamiton after nimo siya gi-dry, ayun na siya i-package. Pero kung dili pa nimo siya gamiton, imo siya ibaligya, kumbaga ikaw ang nagbuhat sa sample for extraction the rest, then you have to package it. Okay? So proper storage and preservation as well are of important factors in maintaining the high degree of quality of drugs. So what are the common ways to preserve and store a crude drug? So we have drying the drug thoroughly or exposing the drug to 65 degrees Celsius, and that method is considered as the simplest method. That is the simplest method to preserve or prevent insect attacks sa ating crude samples. Also, we could use fumigation method with methyl bromide, carbon disulfide or hydrocyanic acid, but since those chemicals are toxic so dili kaayo ga fumigate ang mga prepare or crude drug. Then we could also use the addition of drops of chloroform and carbon tetrachloride to preserve the plant. But again, with the toxicity of the chemical being used, mas preferred yun ang drying the drug thoroughly or exposing the drug to 65 degrees Celsius. Next, we have the evaluation of crude drugs. So when we say the purpose of evaluating a crude drug is to evaluate the identity of a drug and determines the quality and purity of a drug. So what are the ways or methods? So there are 5: the organoleptic, microscopic, chemical, physical and biological evaluation. When you say organoleptic, you will use your organ senses, your 5 organ senses. This refers to the method of analysis like color for your eyes, odor for your nose, taste for your taste buds, size, shape, and special features for your fingertips. So gamitin yun nimo. I have my nephew is agriculturist something in UP. Ila ginang-ibuhat. Organoleptic evaluation. They went to a mountain. They taste, they feel, they kaminaw nila. Ikandak nila ang organoleptic evaluation. Then you have microscopic. When you say microscopic, you can only see it under the microscope. So you will use the microscope, and this method is best when determining an adulterants. What do you mean by adulterants? Kanang dili part sa muhang sample. Those are adulterants. Mga contaminants, kumbaga. What is macroscopic evaluation? Visible and naked eye. So you will use organoleptic. Bagulang galit na ito i-discuss na. Okay, bago lang na ako ang alan, macroscopic evaluation. Next, we have chemical evaluation. So this includes qualitative and quantitative chemical tests, chemical assays, and instrumental analysis. So QC1 and QC2. QC1 and QC2. Ano ba QC1? QC2. QC1. So titration mo. Right? We did conduct titration. You analyze the analytes. Something like that. So that is part of chemical evaluation. You will check the osmolality, normality, molality of your drug sample. Then for physical evaluation. Now for physical evaluation, it's determined the physical property of a drug. So unsay mga physical properties? Solubility, specific gravity, melting point. So those are examples of mga physical properties nga mga i-evaluate sa isang drug. Next, we have the biological evaluation. So this is bioassays. When we say bioassays, it uses a laboratory animals or a membrane, in vitro, in vivo na mga method to evaluate the potency, activity of a plant sample or your drugs. So, for example, we have digitalis na plant. It is a source of digoxin, a cardiac stimulant. Ginagamit ang pigeon to determine its potency. So, digitalis and magamit siya pigeon. We have also glucagon. Diba? Glucagon is an antidote for like beta blocker toxicity. Gamiton ang cat. Ginagamit ang cat to determine the potency or potency and activity of the glucagon drug. You have also atropine. So ginadrop ang atropine sa mata sa cat. Makita niya kung mag-dilate ba or mag-constrict ba ang pupil. We have also rabbit, ginagamit for insulin, and tobucurarine, ginagamit ang rabbit. Also chicken for oxytocin. Chicken oxytocin. Kanang si tawag anong diri sa chicken. May pula ano sa chicken, diya siya gina-inject. Kung ma-violate na siya, meaning nag-contract. Kung wala siya na-violate, wala siya na-contract. Okay, so, again sa ito, digitalis, pigeon, cat, glucagon, and atropine, insulin, rabbit, tobucurarine, oxytocin,
chicken.
Tagato ko, mnemonics, yun saan ako siya pag-memorize. Nasa inyo ang notes. tungkol sa fourth year no? Tagaan mo? Good. Di sila akong last na pharmacognosy kaning fourth year kami. Pigeon, digitalis, pigeon talis, glucatgo, catropin, chitosin, kay chicken, and we have rabinsulin. Rabin o insulin. Kami na bahala sa ito, we cure yun. So ito, pigeon talis, catropin, glucatgo, chitosin, and rabinsulin. Okay? Next, ano na ito sa chemistry of drugs. So for the chemistry of drugs, these are the substances that provides a physiologic activity or exert physiologic effect to the body. So actually, the constituent is a broad term man siya. So kung ato siyang specify based on its activity, we can term them as inert constituents and active constituents. So when we say inert constituent, these are constituents present in plant that do not have pharmacologic activity, meaning inactive, inert lang sila. Present sila sa plant pero dili sila mag-cause of changes in the body. Then we have active constituents. Those are the constituents that provides pharmacological changes, therapeutic activity, toxic activity sa body. Kuha? The active constituent, it is further subdivided into pharmaceutically active constituent and pharmacologically active constituent. When we say pharmaceutically active constituent, it can cause changes in the body by altering the integrity of the formulation. For example, isa kang constituent, pharmaceutically active constituent, ino siyang i-add sa formulation, nag-cause siya of precipitation, that's pharmaceutically active. Then, pharmacologically, siya ang pinaka-importante kay siya ang naay effect sa body. See? So, ang inyo na-memorize, ano? Kaning tulo. Only the inert, the active, and the pharmacologically active. Kaya sila ang importante na inyo ang mahibawan. Okay? Next, we have factors that affect the secondary metabolites. So when I say secondary metabolites, I am referring to the constituents. Okay, so what are the factors that affect the secondary metabolites? So we have hereditary or genetic composition, we have ontogeny or stages of development, and we have environment. So for genetic composition or heredity, it results to distinct differences in the chemical composition, particularly with the reference to secondary metabolite. So pag lahi ilang genetic, of course, lahi ilang genetic composition, lahi ilang ilang active constituents or lahi sila o level of constituents pwede, or number of constituents, lahi-lahi. Okay? For ontogeny or stage of development, ito siyang gingon ako na pag bata pa ang plant, kani nga constituent ang makuha. Pag mag-mature na ang plant, kani ang makuha. Then, for the environment, this produces a variation in secondary plant constituents like level. For example, we have peppermint nga makita din o peppermint na makita sa Japan. Ang peppermint na makita nimo sa Japan is much higher ang iyang menthol content compared kay peppermint na makita sa Philippines. Nga naman, tungod sa environment. The environment affects the active constituent. Mas daghan ang menthol pag nasa Japan kay bugnaw. Sa Pilipinas kay init, gamay ang menthol na present sa peppermint. Just like durian. Kasi about durian. Kami ang durian mo. Kasi mas dami na durian, Bukidnon or Davao?
Davao.
Davao no. So that is part of environmental factor. Sige. Wala na nalaman na. Next, Unit 2. We'll discuss the classes of chemical constituent. We okay with the introduction? Short naman to, very, very short. Dugay na kumaman ng story. Okay, ra? So far, ihapon. So far, so good? So far, so good. Ayun, pakita mo ng far. Yeah, sir. Ayun pa actually. Ano yun? Sige. Kita na. Kaya na ninyo, guys. Again, we will be, the flow of our discussion will be based on the chemical properties or the chemical classification. So that is the flow of our discussion, starting with carbohydrates. Ano carbohydrates man? Because it is the building block of the rest of the components. Building block is a carbohydrate. Followed by glycosides and tannins, lipids that includes fixed oils, volatile oils. We have also resins and resin containing drugs, alkaloids, peptides. Hopefully until vitamins ato ang itakot. Kaya si antibiotics to herb supplements is ano na siya, for lahi na siya na subject. Okay? Next. Carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, these are aldehyde or ketone alcohol containing carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and it is the first product of a biological process that converts electromagnetic energy into chemical energy. Ano sa'yo na pinapasabot diyan ang process? Photosynthesis. Unang siya ang dapat unahon na ito discuss kaya siya manakuna ma-form na product sa plant. Okay? So, the carbohydrates constitute, it is considered as the most abundant macromolecule. Siya pinakadalang na macromolecule. And it constitutes a large proportion of plant biomass, and they are responsible for the following. It provides a rigid cellular framework. So, diba? We have, kung sa'yo naa sa cell wall. Cellulose, yes. So, ginagamit siya as a rigid cellular framework sa plant cell, providing an important food reserves. Example, starch in plants, glycogen in animals, and building block of other compound or constituents and other secondary metabolites. So, the carbohydrates, they may be further classified, broadly classified into monosaccharide, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. So they are classified based on the number of sugar units. We have mono, di, poly. So, dapat makapili na. Mono, di, tetra, tri, tetra, so on and so forth until mabot na siya more than 10, tawagon na nito siya o polysaccharide. Pag 10, si tawag. Pag 10, pag 10 ka sugar units. Tawagon na siya o oligosaccharides. Pag more than 10, tawagon na siya o polysaccharides. Okay? So for monosaccharides, these are employed to sugars that on hydrolysis yields no further sugar, or in simple term, dili na mo siya ma-hydrolyze further. Diya lagi iyang endpoint. Diya lagi siya tama, monosaccharide. And they are further subdivided based on the number of carbon atoms they carry. So we have pyrosis, thiosis, so on and so forth until heptosis. And ang importante is si hexosis because mostly or most of the plants contains or are classified under hexosis. So diya siya mga polysaccharides, hexosans ang tawag sa mga polysaccharides, under na siya with the hexosis na sugar or carbohydrates. Sige, atong i-review gamay ang inyong biochem. With the triosis, what are the 3 carbon atoms? Pag we say triosis, it's the 3 carbon atoms. Importante siya sa Glycolysis. Ano sa to siya? Na sugar. One is a ketone, one is an aldehyde. Glyceraldehyde and ang sayang ang PCAS. Dihydroxy acetone. So kato siya, i-remember ko na under na siya kay trioses. Isa. For pentoses, remember the xylose. Pentose ang xylose. That's a 5 carbon atom. Xylose. Ito na siya discuss later. Okay. Next, we have disaccharides. So, please do remember this one. Kanang breakdown diha. It should be, dapat finish. Kanina. Sucrose and glucose. Kung mo i-break down si fructose, na siya sucrose and glucose. Glucose is, maltose is glucose and glucose. Pag naman, galactose, nasa'yo ano akong pabutang. Galactose, that is glucose and lactose. Again, si sucrose, kung imo siyang i-hydrolyze, muhatag siya of 1 unit of glucose and 1 unit of fructose. Pag si maltose, ang imuhang i-break down, i-hydrolyze, muhatag siya of 2 glucose unit, 2 units of glucose. And si lactose, muhatag siya of glucose and galactose. Okay? So we have the table sugar, the malt sugar, and the milk sugar. Remember na siya, even in medicine, nagawas niya na breakdown. Kinsa daw ang breakdown ni lactose? Good thing, remember na ako sa pharmacognosy na maka-answer ko sa akong PCCO. Okay, next we have the triglycerides. Let's skip this one. Proceed with the polysaccharides. Again, pila galing niya siya monosaccharide unit? More than 10. 213, 5 minutes. Polysaccharides on hydrolysis, they give an indefinite number of monosaccharides and they are further divided into homoglycans and heteroglycans. When we say homoglycans, these are like isa lang yun siya ka unit or homogeneous. When we say homogeneous, diba? Isa lang. Isa lang yun siya ka klase nga saccharides. When we say hetero, a mixture siya of sugar. So for homoglycans, we have starch, inulin, and cellulose. For heteroglycans, we have the gums and the mucilage. Okay? So for heteroglycans, usually nanay mga D, the start sila ng name, D, gluco, D, manan. Wala siya mga examples of, may bawa ninyo heteroglycan siya, may dapat siya name. Okay? So next, we have the test for carbohydrates. You're done this with biochemistry, right? So mabalik na siya sa pharmacognosy. So for the test for carbohydrates, these are found in your textbook. So we have the reduction of filling solution. Just know the reagent and the end product. For Molish test, again, for the reagent and the end product. Ozone test. Now for ozone test, take note lang ninyo na ozone test should not be used kung imuhang i-differentiate si glucose o si fructose. Why? Because they will yield the same ozone. So hindi mo siya ma-differentiate using ozone formation. Kaya pareha sila o product. Yellow crystals. Again, glucose and fructose for ozone formation should not be used when differentiating glucose and fructose because they will yield the same ozone. And then, dili mo siya gamiton to test sa sucrose kaya dili siya mo yield of ozone. So, mga contraindication sa paggamit kay ozone formation, dili siya pwede kay glucose, fructose, and sucrose. Next, we have the resourcinal test for ketones or Selivanov's test. This is a test for ketones. So, may mga ketones na mga sugar, fructose. Dito siya to test for fructose. You have also the Bial's test for deoxysugar or the Killer-Kiliani test. Now actually this one, getting test for deoxysugar, it will be more on the cardiac glycosides rather, because they are part of the glycosides number. So si Killer-Kiliani test, it's commonly more on found in glycosides. Then we have the Porphyral test and the Anthrone test. The general test for carbohydrates, wala na. Si Anthrone test, the general test for carbohydrates, it will yield a blue-green solution. Blue-green solution. Okay, then we have the biosynthesis of carbohydrates, 2 minutes. So just know that you need carbon dioxide, water to produce the sugar. Naalay nyo ang video. Okay, gilabay naman mo na. Let's skip the biosynthesis. Let's proceed with the sugar-containing drugs. So we have monosaccharides, mga xylose, glucose, fructose, galactose. For disaccharides, sucrose, maltose, lactose. Polysaccharides, we have starch, glycogen, dextran, inulin, cellulose, gums, and mucilage. So from starch to cellulose, those are homoglycans. Gums and mucilage are heteroglycans. Okay? So it would be nice na punto na lang natin ani. Kaya kung ato siya ipadayon, it's line na total. So we'll have a discussion on Saturday after our long exam. I won't be able to meet you on Wednesday because I'll be having my examination. So namin exam with same time sa ato ang lecture. So it's your time for you to study. Independent study inyong Wednesday. We'll have our exam up until here. Introduction up until here for Saturday, and we'll continue with the discussion. Okay? Good, Sir Mana? Okay. So, dapat po tayo makastudy. Okay? If nakasign na sa attendance, asa ang attendance?